people doing dumb shit and they said that this gon' happen on the regular. Real people, real crime, true stories. They get fatal, promise ain't nothing that's scarier. Talk about the stories, but you know we different, man. You know we had to add a little twist. Comedy and crime, speaking of man, we different design. You never seen a show like this. Comedy and crime, Rodney Perry live. Comedy and crime, Rodney Perry live. Comedy and crime, Rodney Perry live. Comedy and crime, Rodney Perry live.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rodney Perry. This is Comedy and Crime, and that young man is Artsy Musa. That young lady is the Melanie Mary in the building. My partners in crime. I guess there's probably a better way to say that. Today's show, Comedy and Crime, the podcast. We got a lot to cover, guys. So let's jump right into it. First of all, Musa, what's been happening out there in them streets, man?
In the streets, man, we got Jaguar Wright, man, former backup singer for The Roots, and also her heyday, she was a former backup singer for Jay-Z's legendary Unplugged series in 2001. She sung the backup. That was when people liked her. That was a good 4 or 5 years. Just
she was fine back then too. She didn't pick up a couple 8 or 9 pounds.
Yeah, a couple 8 or 9. You know, then on top of 9, on top of another 9. You know, but you counting. You know what I mean? But eventually, I guess she lost.
Wait, what you call big girls? What you call big girls?
The big backs. I mean, Jaguar Wright is still a beautiful woman. It's just the way that she chooses to make a living that we don't agree with. That's the thing with us. It's like when I
gotta be honest, I believe a lot of stuff this woman be saying, man. Am I tripping?
It makes it hard to believe when she put 20 on 10, like the old folks say. Like it's for her to say, right? Recently, she's in the news right now because she went on Piers Morgan. Am I saying the name correctly? And
yes.
She wanted to defame Jay-Z. She's been on this campaign to try to attach Jay-Z and a few other prominent names to this P. Diddy thing. And everybody's saying now, like, why isn't Jay-Z suing her? You know, or why isn't any
he hasn't responded at all up to this point,
no.
But. So, okay, can we see the video?
You want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. A response that changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
Right. There's been a lot of...
She got little fingers. She got real little fingers, I noticed. Can't trust her that way.
You definitely got some tiny little fingers. Hey, y'all, this Comedy and Crime. That young lady is Jaguar Wright, and she went on Piers Morgan and unpacked this thing. And like we said, Jay-Z and Beyonce, none of their family has yet to respond to her at all until now. They responded to the Piers Morgan interview. Break that down, Musa.
They're apparently saying, people are saying they're threatened to sue, but they're not suing. And a lot of people were trying to say why they weren't suing. And I had a video by Don Lemon that kind of explains why rich people tend to not sue people who are poor, because the resources that you lose suing somebody who really can't give you anything is not worth it. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure you might get a cease and desist.
Well, let's run at Don Lemon. You got Don Lemon, Madeline.
Okay, this is for everyone in the comments who is saying, well, why isn't Jay-Z and Beyonce threatening to sue Jaguar Wright? Jaguar Wright probably is what legal people call judgment proof, meaning there's nothing to collect if you sue someone civilly. So why on earth would you sue them? Also, when she doesn't go on a big platform like that, basically she's just like standing in the edge of the ocean, just screaming into the ocean. Or she's like your crazy aunt at the picnic or the cookout, and you just go, oh yeah, this is my aunt talking whatever. When she goes on a platform as big as Piers Morgan, it amplifies it to millions of people, his subscribers and viewers, and people who aren't even his subscribers and viewers, just millions more people. He has a responsibility on his platform to put on truthful people. And if he doesn't, he could lose millions of dollars. They can collect that. He could also lose his entire platform because they could sue him into oblivion. That's why.
Melanie, give me this. He mentioned judgment proof. Talk to me about how this works in a civil suit. A person that's really kind of can say whatever, because I mean, we saw with the blogger when the rapper sued her, that was $1 million suit, but will they ever collect?
Oh, you're talking about Tasha K. So
Yes.
let me address your first question. Let me address your first question. What is judgment proof? So judgment proof is essentially, even if you win the lawsuit, which you likely will, because you can't, defamation by definition is making untruthful statements about what someone's character. And so a complete defense to defamation is truth, but if she's untruthful, then that's the definition of defamation. So defamation is a civil matter. So there's no criminal form of defamation, meaning there's no jail time available for somebody if you defame them. However, there are pretty serious penalties, including punitive damages and punitive damages that go to the punishment. So actually, they awarded Cardi B more in punitive damages. I think it was like 4 million. So it wasn't even 1 million. It was 4 million because they thought that Tasha K acted willfully because Cardi B asked her nicely to take the information down and she would not. So on top of the standard damages that come along with basically loss of reputation, things of that nature, punitive damages are there to punish on top of the actual damages that are incurred as a part of the defamation, which includes loss of reputation. So if you're judgment proof, that means even if you win the lawsuit, then there's no money to collect. And it's expensive to be a plaintiff in a defamation lawsuit. You have to retain an attorney.
Yeah.
They have to file the case. To file the case is at least $1,000. Then as far as their billable hours, they're going to have to draft a memo, draft motions. So all of that. So it could take $100,000 to defend the case, where if the damages to your reputation equal $100,000, but in the case of Beyonce and Jay-Z, their reputation holds a monetary weight. Their reputation holds worth in the millions and billions. Both of them combined are billionaires. So it means something to their reputation to be defamed in a manner of, and doing a five degrees of Kevin Bacon or 5 degrees of sex trafficking separation. So you can't mount those allegations, and those are pretty serious allegations because all of those men have either been convicted or are something. So Jay-Z and Beyonce could recover $1 million, but Jaguar Wright ain't got 2 pennies to rub together.
Wow. Hey, I'm Rodney Perry. That is Melanie Mary, our legal eagle. She's also a professional comedian as well. And that young man right there, Mr. Artsy Musa. Artsy Musa, man, you don't believe Jaguar Wright, right? Period. You muted, sir.
Well, I don't believe nothing this woman say. She might be 30% true, but she's 70% BS, man. I don't like it. I feel like once you start lying a little bit, and now you get a little fame or attention from lying a little bit, now you got to keep lying. So the lies gonna get way more extravagant, man. She gonna get into that conspiracy theorist hole where she talking about people as lizard people and the earth is flat. That's what she gonna go at, because there's no other way to go once you start believing the BS. You know, she said that Chloe Bailey was a clone. She said that Chloe Bailey was her clone. She said the world wanted her to look like Chloe, wanted Chloe to look like her. So that's what she going. That's how she's scraping the bottom of the bucket right now, bro. She lost
me there.
What happened? She went on Piers Morgan, like you heard what Don Lemon said. She was just screaming into the void. See, the void is just code word for black podcasts. She went on that white man platform, and they said, Jay-Z said, hold up. You can talk to the Negroes at the park and on the porch all you want to. When you start touching the white folks, he said, yo, we gotta reel her in. And Pierce Morgan already
Speaking
apologized.
of touching the white folks, the name of the podcast, Comedy and Crime. We are touching the white folks. The white folks love us.
You daggone right.
It goes
You daggone
down.
right.
And I don't know if y'all noticed, Musa and Melanie, we got a new theme song.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if y'all tripped off of it. Check it out.
Rodney Perry live. Comedy and crime. Rodney Perry live. Comedy and crime. Rodney Perry live.
We got some merch coming soon too. Theme song, merch.
Run it back.
You gon' see a lot of people doing dumb shit and they said that this gon' happen on the regular. Real people, real crime, true stories. They get fatal, promise ain't nothing that's scarier. Talk about the stories, but you know we different, man. You know we had to add a little twist. Comedy and crime, speaking of man, we different design. You never seen a show like this. Comedy and crime, Rodney Perry live. Comedy and crime.
Yo, first of all, I wanted to have my friend on. Her name is C Snapper. C Snapper is a super hip hop artist, and I gave her a call. I say, Snapper, I need a theme song for the new podcast. And when I tell you she turned this thing around in like 8 minutes.
Come on now.
And we got another version that's going to definitely shout out Musa, going to definitely shout out Melanie. But I just wanted to make sure that we rocked it. Melanie, first of all, Snapper, talk to me about the beat. Everything is just fly.
So when you called me, I was like, I asked you a few things about it, but one of the things that stuck out was you was like, you wanted to have that Law and Order feel to it. So I was like,
I just heard it. I listened 50 times and I just heard it just now. Like, oh, it's got dun dun dun.
Yeah.
That's a
So I definitely wanted to capture that, and then just taking what you gave me as far as like what you all was going to be talking about, and just incorporating all those elements into the song. I wanted to make sure that I was able to, put all of those elements into the song and give you all a great intro.
Yo,
great, man.
sis.
That was fire.
Fire. I mean, you gonna mess around and get a Grammy.
Well, I'm thankful. I
fire.
appreciate you, just for reaching out to me. You could have reached out to anybody, but you know what I'm saying? So I greatly appreciate that, and appreciate the opportunity for you all allowing me to make the theme song for your show.
Hey, talk to me about your music, man. How do people stay in touch and really, really consume all your stuff? Because you got 1,000 songs on iTunes, Apple, the whole nine.
So for people that's trying to find my music, you can go to all streaming platforms. I'm under C Snapper on all streaming platforms. You can find me there. You can also find me on YouTube as well. I have a C Snapper page, and I also want to touch on, I have a reality show that will be coming soon. It's called Hip Hop in the City. You can see that Hip Hop in the City is coming soon. We've been working on it for about 6 months now. So we've been going really hard on it. So this is our first big project coming out the gate. So you all, if you get a chance, please follow us on YouTube as well, or all platforms under Hip Hop and AND the City as well. So, we just trying to change the game, do something different. And incorporate music.
I'm glad you were able to come on today. I wanted to make sure people got to see your face, man.
Yes, sir.
This lady is absolutely a gem, and I hope the world gets to find out as soon as possible, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was nice meeting you all. Look forward to working with you all soon.
Congratulations, too.
Hey, I'm Rodney Perry, and it is Comedy and Crime. That young lady is Melanie Mary. That brother right there is Artsy Musa.
Yo!
What a show today. Today we're talking about Christopher Dorner. Christopher Dorner. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this guy, man. Dave Chappelle mentioned him in his special about George Floyd. And I became aware of who this guy was. Let's look at the video before we get into it.
In 2013, a killing spree would unfold in California.
Officer shot multiple times.
That would grip the United States.
Deputies say the killer could be anywhere.
and grab headlines across the globe.
The man who did this was a monster.
Targeting his former employers at the LAPD.
He was willing to do anything to kill police officers and their families and to get away.
Ex-cop Christopher Dorner would embark on a vigilante mission for vengeance.
He held a pistol out the window.
Wow, Christopher Dorner, man, this guy goes on what is called a killing spree. Melanie, can you give us some context? Can you break this down?
So yes, Christopher Dorner was originally born in New York. He moved to a suburb of Los Angeles called Norwalk, and attended school there as a child, and went to high school in Cypress, which is in Orange County. Ended up going to college in Utah and playing football. He was a running back, but apparently not a very good one. So after he got out of college, he enrolled in the Navy Reserve, and was a Navy reservist, and then concurrently applied and was accepted to the Los Angeles Police Department, the notorious LAPD.
Boy, like George Foreman in the face.
That's where our story begins.
I thought he was a Navy SEAL, but he was not a Navy SEAL.
I don't. He was a Navy SEAL? Oh yeah, she
no, he was a Navy reservist. No.
No.
Hey, this guy, Musa, this guy is a perfect example. F around and find out if that was a person. Let me tell you something.
For sure.
Musa, what do you know about this guy, man? What do you know about Christopher Dorner?
I watched the videos. I did a little deep dive, man. I understand how you feel to be, scorned employee, because that's what I felt like all this came from, right? With him getting the can from the police service, and I think he got an honorable discharge from the service as well. I think he got kicked out of the police force. So I understand what it feels like to lose your job, but I feel like when you try to make your job your identity, that's when it get dangerous. Some people like, you a comedian, but you are also a father. You also a husband. Like, if all you got is comedy and you lose comedy, now you just a killer machine. I guess that's how it works. And I think that was the thing that really took me over the top, because was the fact that he had killed my man's daughter. And I was like, yo, he a supervillain at this point to me. Like,
but they messed with the wrong dude, man. Look, the guy, right? So Christopher Dorner, he witnesses one of his LAPD cohorts treat somebody wrong, and he reported her, and they made him the villain. Like, I don't know if this guy is totally wrong. What's your thoughts? Anybody? Let's go.
I think the blue shield of silence is a real thing. And, I don't want to necessarily call them a gang, but there's loyalty within those ranks once you sign up to be a police officer. And I think that's expected of anybody who's a police officer. So I definitely understand you calling somebody a traitor. Because if I'm working at Burger King and you see me steal fries and you telling me you ain't really Burger King, you ain't a king.
You ain't Burger King. You ain't Burger King.
You're not gang no more. Like it's just you just got a uniform on. You don't really, you know what I mean? You ain't with us. So I feel like that what happened. I feel like you're expected to turn the other cheek when one officer get out of hand, to not get an officer in trouble. I think that's what all organized Army, Navy. I think that's what any service you in. I think y'all brothers. So y'all ain't supposed to tell on each other.
Melanie, we always talk about on this show. We always talk about. Go ahead, Melanie. I'm sorry.
Well, you talked about, is his behavior justified? And it was in response to him reporting his colleague who had allegedly assaulted a mentally disabled man. But some of the stories that I watched, the LAPD are completely denying that incident ever occurred, and saying that he was upset because that same lady gave him a bad performance review, and then he retaliated by saying that she beat the mentally ill man. So there's still some, and even the mentally ill man can't confirm because he was like bipolar schizophrenic. So he gave a completely different description. Like the lady was a white blonde lady, and he said it was a lady with dark hair. So there were some discrepancies in the description of who beat him. So I've seen some stories alleging, like painting Dorner as some like a pissed off employee because he had a bad performance review. So he, told on his colleague, and then that's where all the shit started.
Right.
Was the dude even beaten? First of all, he said was a white hair, dark hair, but he got his ass whooped though, the special kid. Right? That's what we can draw the line at. He got his ass beat. So I'm like,
he did,
that should
but
be enough.
The police deny it.
Yeah, that should be enough for them. Yeah, he had dark hair. You don't know what color hair is when you're getting your ass beat. Like that should be enough for them to just be like, okay. It was a dark. That's how you go. So that I get my ass beat, and I be like, "Yo, nah, she was a brunette, not a blonde." I don't know.
There's a movie. I love this movie on Netflix, the Rebel Ridge. I thought Rebel Ridge was his story, but it's not his story at all. We talk about the fact that movies outside of Django, you never see a black person kill whites, but this dude did some killing. Is there any justification for him going off the rails like that, Musa?
No, that's not a justification for it. And I feel like sane people don't understand insanity, but I feel like the worst thing you could ever deal with is somebody who's a skilled, trained killer when they lose it. I think though all the videos we've seen since we've been studying in this case, those cops are clearly terrified. Like I've never seen cops feel, they say what they want to say. He's a monster. He's this and that, but you can tell by the way they talking. You can tell by their posture. Those cops are terrified of this man. That's why they moving the way they moving. So I'm just like, yo, it's not justified. And one thing, if it's cops killing cops for offending cops, I can understand that. But when he stepped outside of that at the beginning and killed that man's daughter because he couldn't get to him, that's when I lost all respect for him as a whatever you want to call it. Because I feel like that's kind of, you know what I mean? Because it might be a lot of gray areas to this whole thing. Yeah. She had nothing to do. She was at a basketball game, if I'm not mistaken. That's crazy, bro. Or she was a basketball coach.
I mean, Melanie, isn't it true? Isn't it true, Melanie? When you people that commit crimes against the cops are viewed as way more dangerous.
Absolutely, because they take an order to serve and protect. So if me as a just civilian person not in law enforcement decides to attack the men and women that are tasked to protect me, that's a huge violation. Because for the most part, cops do protect us. But now that we have video evidence, we see more and more instances of how the cops don't protect us, especially if you're Black or brown. But yeah, this is a person who was trained. He was not only trained in the police academy, he was also trained in the Navy. So he was a super duper killer, trained in, trained with projectiles and shooting and, all of the things that you need to learn. So being able to shoot people from short distances, long distances. So basically he was a trained assassin. And that's why, who does the joke? I don't know if it's Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock. Like if every Black man and woman bought guns, they would change the gun laws. Like you ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
Absolutely.
Wow, how about that? Hey, this is Rodney Perry. You're tuning into Comedy and Crime, the podcast. Today we're talking about Christopher Dorner. This young man went on a killing spree in Los Angeles against the LAPD, and wow, and there's folklore around this case. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but there's folklore that says he may not even be dead. We never see his body. We never see him. They're kind of making him the Paul Bunyan of this type of situation. What's your thoughts, Musa? You probably hear yourself, but we do not hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. If he survived this, man, that's amazing. That like you said, that is a fairy tale, urban legend style killing spree that this man went on. But I feel like it's another situation. Like, do y'all remember the movie what was it called? Something in Slim? Lena Rafe
with the
Queen of Slim.
Yeah, where they went on,
they went on a killing spree with the police, and that's what it puts me in the mindset of, is that the idea of what he had done was way more powerful than him as a human being. So if he is still alive, I know it'll never come to light. And even if he is still alive, what he stood for and what he just did is way more damaging to the police force and the idea of what they stand for than him as a person. You know what I mean? I don't think he could do any good, is basically what I'm saying. If he's alive or dead, it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he survived the standoff in the woods, man. He really worked his way into a tough situation. And I think he was always, I think the moment you take a cop's life, you got to be prepared to die after that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you feel like he was trained in a way of accepting death? Because it seems like, just all the training he went through.
I don't know if it's training, and that's a great question. I don't know if it's training. I served in the United States Navy, and at some point, you got to reconcile yourself to the fact that, one, I'm never going to jail. He probably had already come to that conclusion, and so once you decide you ain't going to jail, you prepare to take whatever your punishment is, which is probably death.
So he basically saying, I know how this ends for me no matter what. So either I'm going to kill 100 of them or kill one, but they're going to kill me regardless.
They're going to kill me regardless. Melanie, could you have defended Christopher Dorner?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because every American person has the right to defense under the Constitution. Whether they are under the Constitution, every criminal defendant is assumed innocent until proven guilty. It would have been the burden of the state of California, where I am licensed. It would have been the burden of the state of California to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Chris Dorner did, in fact, murder intentionally the victims of the crime. So absolutely, I would have defended him. That's just like asking Johnny Cochran, would he have defended OJ? It's not whether or not they're guilty or innocent. It's what the state can prove. But unfortunately, it would have been a very hard case to defend, because after the first murder of Mrs. Kwan and her fiance, he was on video. They caught him on video getting rid of the gun. And then the second killing he did of the two police officers in Orange County, there was a witness who saw him. So and then for the first crime, he admitted it on Facebook in his manifesto. So I would have my only defense would have been insanity defense. He was at the end of his rope. He had exhausted all of his mechanisms, because he appealed to the Supreme Court of California, the Court of Appeals of California, Superior Court. He exhausted all of his appealable issues, and none of them resulted in him getting hired back to the LAPD. So my only defense would be that he was criminally insane.
Wow. Hey,
with that being said, though, taking on that case, you're not fearing for your safety? I mean, we see so many times, the police can be threatening too. The police can lean on you a little too.
I guess that's the risk that you have to take. But for me, I would take it only because I'm not scared of the police. I'm not afraid of the police. And if I ended up dead, I would leave a note like, look, if somebody kills me, it was probably the police.
Wow.
Because I wouldn't let intimidation and fear be a tactic to scare me away.
I'm going to tell you right now,
Fuck
he already lost the case. He lost the case either way. So you should, why put myself in danger? Let him get a public defender.
But we don't know he would lose the case, though. We don't know that. I mean, it's a preponderance of the truth of the evidence, and it's also, can you make
no.
Okay.
What's she saying?
Preponderance of the evidence is a civil standard. Preponderance of the evidence is a civil standard. So, because I'm going to correct you every time you make a legal mistake, because this is comedy and crime, but I'm a whole lawyer in Georgia and California, and we will not be presenting false equivalencies or wrong standards of proof. So in a
Indeed.
civil lawsuit, the burden of proof is the preponderance of the evidence, which means that it is more likely than not that the person caused the action, whether that be whatever the action is that they're being sued for. In a criminal case, the burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt, meaning not the removal of all doubt, but a reasonable person would believe that based on the facts and evidence presented at trial, that this person has committed the crime by a percentage of about 97, 98%. So not a removal of all doubt, but a reasonable doubt that this person committed the crime.
Well, absolutely. Well said. And I understand the idea of reasonable doubt. I've actually sat on a murder case before, and it was the most stressful thing I've ever done. Melanie, as a lawyer dealing with these situations, how stressful is it to be you?
She could.
Oh, wow, that's a great question. So I tried my first and only case in August 2011, and it was a theft case. I was maybe 6 months into my job as a assistant district attorney in Fulton County. So I was under a lot of stress because the district attorney at that time, Paul Howard, he basically told all of us, if you can't win a case, then you'll have to answer to me, meaning we were under threat of being demoted or possibly fired if we didn't win our cases. So imagine a baby prosecutor, 6 months out of law school. I mean, luckily I was the president of the Black Law Student Associations, and I was the captain of the Black Law Student Association mock trial team. So I had some experience, and I took trial technique in law school, but I had never tried a case before. And the office didn't offer that many resources. So luckily I did win stuff, and I proved it. But I was up all night, probably got 3-4 hours of sleep, prepping my cases. I did my opening and closing arguments to 3 stuffed animals on my couch in my living room. Like, I was getting prepared because I was like, I cannot lose, because I didn't want to lose if I lose, then I lose my job.
How about that? Wow.
So if you trying to murder,
give me this, because I think people take for granted that a lawyer is a lawyer, but passing the bar is no joke. And you passed the bar in 2 different states, which is not a game, am I right?
No. Oh, and mind you, I took them 10 years apart. So I got licensed in Georgia in December 2010. I became licensed in California. In May of 21. So literally I had to relearn everything I forgot from law school. And this is during the pandemic, so I couldn't take a class. So I literally just ordered the bar prep books off of eBay and taught myself, sat at my desk for 8 hours a day for 2 months and wrote essays all day. Because I didn't have to take the whole thing. I just had to take the attorney part, which is an essay exam. So I literally would write essays 8 hours a day for 2 months up until the bar.
Wow. Let me ask you.
On the first try.
I mean, I take my hat off because my brother went through law school at Loyola in New Orleans, and of course that's a whole different ball of wax when you learn New Orleans law, right? Because it's got all this French, caveats on top of it. But at the same time, he went up to New York. He said New York has a catch-all that if you pass the bar in New York, you pass the bar everywhere in the country. Is that true?
No. No.
Damn. I thought it was.
Some states don't have reciprocity. Some states don't have reciprocity. Like, no, because like I'm licensed in Georgia. So like, for instance, if I wanted to transfer my license to Illinois from Georgia, I could, or if I wanted to transfer from Georgia to New York, I could, but Georgia, so that's not true. Absolutely not.
I wish it was.
Do you why do you wish it was, Mr. Musa?
Because it just seemed like it seemed like it passing the bar is so damn hard. So I wish it was just an overall one y'all could just pass and be done with it, bro. But when if you're defending somebody who's a murderer, who for a murder charge, and you lose that charge and now they get sentenced to death, do you feel like they're gonna hunt you, bro? Like, do you think you feel like like how y'all don't think about that? Like, yo, this nigga's Rodney, like if you dog, you the reason he died, Rodney. You think he ain't gonna hunt you?
Well,
Like, dog, he on your ass, bro. Like, you see,
I worry about his ghost. I don't think so. All right, the name of the show is Comedy and Crime. That is Melanie Mary. That is also Mr. Artsy Musa. Hey, let's get into these stupid criminals, man. What you got today, Artsy?
Oh, super criminal of the day, man, Mr. Tom Perez. He's just a regular guy. He's a great guy, to be honest, man. We got a picture of Tom Perez we can put up. This isn't his most flattering moment, but that's the result of Tom Perez being interrogated for 17 hours by the police force, man. Tom Perez was just in his house having a regular old day, drinking his Starbucks. The police bust in his house through an anonymous tip, and they find DNA stains on the carpet in which they arrest him for murdering
They found
his
blood,
father.
literal blood.
It's only a little droplet of blood. It wasn't no stain the size of a Kool-Aid or nothing. It was like a almost
minuscule.
Yes, a SD card from a camera, credit card size of DNA. They found
that's a lot of blood, dude.
Yeah, but I mean that's I don't know. That's a finger, but it wasn't bad. Apparently the person who got cut their hand while they was I guess they were cooking, and that's where the blood apparently came from. So
they take him in. They're interrogating him 17 hours,
saying he killed his father because his father was missing. Apparently, according to the police officers, they couldn't get up with his father. Father was not reported missing, but since the police officers couldn't get up with his father, they figured he killed his father because that's who the DNA belonged to. And when they reached out, they couldn't get up with him. So they interrogated this man for 17 hours trying to get him to confess. An hour 15, they had a smoking gun.
And they can use whatever tactics they want to use. They can lie. The police can lie. Let me tell y'all this. Let me tell y'all something. The police can lie. Now I know Melanie will debunk if I say some bullshit. The police can lie to you.
Hour 15 after no sleep, no food. They are still interrogating this man. As y'all can see, he's ripping his shirt open. Somebody had this bright idea and said, hey, he's Caucasian, right? They said, okay, what should we do? Hey, yo, bring in his dog.
Hold on, stop right there, Musa. So you telling me that the police said to themselves, he's white, he probably love his dog.
Say he probably love his dog. And they said, yo, never in 100 years of police force have we ever brought in a Great Dane to bust this case open, but I think it's time. And they took those gloves off, man.
Okay, stop right there, Musa. Madeline, play the dog video. What the hell is going on?
Work, detectives brought in Perez's dog.
You killed him. And your dog is sitting here looking at you, knowing that you killed your dad.
Detectives even suggested the dog may have to be put down after witnessing such a traumatic event.
I've never, ever seen a situation where the police bring a dog this size through the police department, they transport there, walk it through the police department, bring it into an interrogation room, and use it as a tool in order to seek a confession.
Do you see how distraught every white person in that picture is? Every white person that they show is distraught.
First of all, the dog ain't distraught at all. The dog is happy. The dog tail wagging. The dog is like, yo, they gave me some snacks. I'm having a good day today.
Dog really don't like my man, to be honest. He an emotional support dog. He tired of having to support this man every time he's sad about something.
So wait, so what are you saying, Musa? You're saying that did this man did he actually say that he committed the crime or not?
He committed. After 17 hours of being interrogated, this man finally admits, said, man, 17 hours, almost, you got me.
I killed my daddy.
My father. I killed my dad. Don't kill my, they told him they're gonna have to put his dog to sleep if he don't confess. That's how monstrous this got for the police. And that's why I think that broke him. He looked at that dog eyes, that dog, yo, I did it. So he took,
so wait, so what are you telling me, Musa? He didn't commit the crime?
Man, after he confessed to this crime, he was dehydrated and distraught from all the emotional overload that the 17 hours of interrogation was. So they took him into a hospital so he can decompress and get examined. While he was in the hospital, the nurse comes up to him and said, "Hey, well, you're not supposed to get any phone calls considering your investigation, but your father's on the phone."
Wait a minute.
But your father's on the phone.
Wait a damn minute. So his father not dead at all.
He dropped to his knees, started crying. His father was in LA about to get on a flight to go on a trip to the Bahamas.
The father was at a Diddy party.
The silver lining in this whole thing now is he sued and got $900,000 for this whole ordeal. So, but the police were clearly the dumbass criminals in today's episode.
Wow, that's crazy.
How did
Melanie
he get
Mary.
$900,000? How did he
sued the police for investigating for the interrogating for the 17 hours.
But so he was only in custody for 17 hours and he got $900,000.
Yeah, he was a white dude. Once the defendants and everybody see that dog, he winning.
Wow.
I'm telling you right now, when they bought that dog, and that's cruel and unusual punishment in the Caucasity.
Hold on. Melanie, unpack this from a legal standpoint because you asked a great question, like how he wasn't in custody for a long time. Is there limits on how long a cop can interrogate you? And absolutely, and tell me if I'm telling the truth or not. Can they lie to you?
So number one, you're telling the truth. They absolutely can lie to you in order to get you to confess. And our confession and interrogation practices are psychological and very coercive in nature. So honestly, they could be brain trafficking, okay? Because they're using force, coercion, and threats. So they are brain trafficking, okay? That's what Victor said, and we stick it to it. But
shout out to Victor Williams.
Yes, he was awesome. So, but as far as the interrogation, so you like the United States versus Miranda, basically that's where the Miranda rights come from. It was a Supreme Court case, right? So right. But so if after being read your Miranda rights, you continue to talk, then they can interrogate you. However, the minute, second, day, or hour you ask for an attorney, all interrogation has to end. It has to stop, because if they continue to interrogate you after that point and you make a confession, you utter a statement, none of that can be used in court because it's in a violation of your Fifth Amendment rights. And so when you're watching stuff like the First 48 and these cop shows and people are given their rights to start talking, I know I'm not the only one that shut up. Like, don't say anything, because the less you say, they don't have anything. They don't have any statements to make to put against you to impeach you with in a court of law. So just like Victor was saying, everything you say can or will be used against you in a court of law. So as long as you assert your Fifth Amendment right to counsel, or Sixth Amendment right to counsel, is the minute you say, I need a lawyer, I want to talk to a lawyer, it has to stop. And so I don't know if you asked for one, but I want to talk about that $900,000 amount too, because that's quite a large amount for only being in custody 17 hours. Okay. Because there are Black men that have been in jail for years over false convictions for murder, for rape, and they barely get $1 million. So for a white man to get
case too.
Exactly. So for a white man to get, I don't even think the Central Park Five got that much. I mean, they might, you know what I'm saying?
They got some millions, I think.
They got millions, but I'm saying this guy for 17 hours got $900,000. Meanwhile, those guys spent like 25 years in jail. So it's just like, what is the worth of our Black life? Because white life apparently is worth more, because I tell you this, if either one of you was in jail for 17 hours, they'll offer you $5,000 and be like, take it or leave it.
I'm telling
you right now, y'all overlooking one important fact. The Central Park Five did not have a puppy. If they would have had a goddamn puppy,
the dog is a problem.
We done stumbled onto something right here, and we playing with it. If you ever see if the cops got me,
figured it out. The
cops got me.
It's not racist.
Bring my dog.
Canine.
Yes. Hey, they got Josh. They interrogating Josh. Bring him his puppy. Bring my dog.
Hey guys, my name is Rodney Perry. That Artsy Musa. That young lady is Melanie Mary, and this is Comedy and Crime. All right, we got it. We got another stupid criminal, man. Man, Musa, you out of control for this stuff, man.
Excuse you.
He in the car. He broke in the car. She in the car.
The first rule to break into cars.
She's like, excuse you. Yo, who breaks into a car with people in it?
I've seen that though. I've seen that. When you know, when you leaving the, you know, it's a thing when people follow you from the airport when they see you put your luggage in. You know, they always say when you leave the airport, you always put the go to where you're going, because people literally follow people from the airport who got luggage in their car if they want to stop to get food, and that's when they rob them. I seen somebody get their trunk broken in real time.
Really?
They drove their car, they parked at some place to go eat, and as soon as they parked, somebody hopped out. They didn't even park. The people who hopped out, they didn't even park and pop their trunk, bust their windows, snatch their luggage out, and kept going. Like, people follow you back home from the airport, man. It's a thing. So just a nugget for anybody who traveling, bro, especially if you in a rough city. When you land, go put your luggage up. Don't go eat first, because people follow you.
You know what? That's a great point, Musa. And one thing we got to also pay attention to: every city has like specifics. Like, I was in Memphis, right? I was driving an Infiniti Q50S. Okay. Why was my car the car of choice for criminals in Memphis?
Oh man!
And I had no idea. Dude came to me and said, "Rob, man," he said, "Man, I'm a fan, bro. I'm gonna come check you out at the comedy club, but nigga, please get out of here with that car. They will get you at gunpoint."
Oh man!
You know, and then Atlanta, the car of choice in Atlanta is that the Chevy
Hellcat. Is the
Hellcat. That's the car. They're easy to get into, and that's the crime car here. But Chicago might have a different car. So if you're traveling around the country, man, make sure you make yourself aware of the criminality in said area.
Exactly. Especially as a man, bro, I really don't do too much solo moving around unless I'm with somebody from the city. Like, I don't know what it is for women, but men, we run into a lot of static just from being somewhere and not being from that place.
Oh no, dog. Let me tell you something. As a comedian, I assume, first of all, when I'm on the road, I assume every woman that comes in contact with me is a woman of the promoter.
Oh wow.
Every single one. And you know, promoters be having multiple girls. They be having to do like, hey, man, hey, this is my cousin, this is my nigga. All them women is his.
Facts.
And if you get like, I got one of my boys, he gone now, but he was a handsome guy, and he wondered why people wouldn't book him. I said, your ass too cute. Too damn handsome. Don't anybody worry about Rodney Perry stealing that woman because, nigga, I got this face.
It's a red flag when she know all the security. That's how you know.
Oh, you know, we got to do a show about scammers. I got scammed, guys. I don't know how they got to my account. I look up yesterday.
Oh, no.
My account is minus $8,000.
Oh my God.
Oh, damn.
$8,000. I banged with Chase. I hit Chase up. I was like, yo, I've been scammed. There's like, yo, Mr. Perry, we'll take care of it. It may take up to 24 hours, but somebody went to Best Buy and spent $8,000. I'm like, how do you let somebody spend and some kind of way? It wasn't a credit card. They had the account number. I don't know how they got it.
Oh, wow.
I think my information is being sold on the black web or something like that. But I want to do a whole show dedicated to scammers and some of the scams that are out there.
I like that.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I like that. Y'all got Bojangles up there?
Yeah, you know, Bojangles as a franchise, they have the most black owners in America.
I didn't know
any other franchise.
I was just saying, you know, them.
I don't know if this Trump made that up. I really made that up. I apologize.
Those blueberries, bro.
Felt good though. Tell me about Bojangles, though, Musa. What you got?
Those bowberries in them. Those ain't blueberries. You talking about scams? I don't know what those are. Those ain't like, it ain't real fruit. Some type of, I don't know what, some type of tablet or some shit.
They never said it was blueberry. They said it was bowberries.
Bowberries.
Hey, I don't like it. Yo, I don't know if it's gonna hold up in court right there, Melanie.
They didn't say it was blueberries. They said it was blueberries. So they said you took the L on that one, sir. You should have known better.
Sound like a scam to me.
Sound like a scam. Let me tell you something. I was addicted to them Bowberry biscuits for about 3 weeks a couple of years ago.
My cousin used to love them.
I was of them mugs.
Say he couldn't control his blinking. Yeah, he was eating them every day. And something happened to him. Nigga say he couldn't stop blinking. I don't know what's in them Bowberries, man. I don't know if it's a blueberry or what. Telling you, just
stop blinking.
Couldn't say he couldn't control his blinking. I said, nigga, leave them shit.
Hey, yo, we out of control. The name of the podcast, Comedy and Crime. That young man is Artsy Musa. Melanie Mary is in the building. I'm Rodney Perry, and the podcast is Comedy and Crime. Hey, y'all, let's get out of here. Great show for today. Well done. We talked about Mr. Christopher Dorner. He is dead and gone. He's proof that what you don't want to do is fuck with the cops.
Oh, Jesus.
That's our show for today.
Yeah.
My little button here.
Drop that song one more time.
Drop that song that one time. Let's go, let's shot it.
Hey, shout out to Snapper.
Snapper in the building.
See a lot of people doing dumb shit and they said that it's gonna happen on the regular. Real people, real crime, true stories. They get fatal, promise ain't nothing that's scarier. Talk about the stories, but you know we different, man. You know we had to add a little twist. Comedy and crime, speaking of man, we different design. You never seen a show like this. Comedy and crime, Rodney Perry live.